Police in Kasarani are investigating a bizarre incident, the murder of a woman whose body was dismembered. The body of the woman was discovered in a short-term rental in Roysambu in Kasarani with the head missing.
20-year-old Rita Waeni was a third-year student studying corporate communications and management at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT. Rita was a humble, kind, and hardworking young woman who was focused on her studies. She enjoyed hanging out with her friends and engaging in activities at her local church. Known by her family and friends in her hometown of Makueni for her unwavering kindness, infectious laughter, and ability to light up any room she entered, Rita was a true joy for those who knew her. Like many young people her age, Rita was active on social media. It was on Instagram that she met the evil man who ended up taking her life. According to the police, the man, who is currently unidentified, sent Rita numerous messages. In the numerous messages they exchanged, the man lured Rita to meet up with him multiple times, but she declined the offers. The man was so insistent on meeting with Rita that she questioned his intentions in one of the messages to him. She even asked him if he had plans to harm or kill her. The man also refused to communicate with Rita via phone calls or exchange phone numbers. In hindsight, he was trying to hide his identifiable data, including his phone number, because he knew the sinister plans he had for Rita. In a last attempt to lure Rita to meet up with him, the man lied to her, claiming that he was about to leave the country and they needed to meet before he did. Welcome to Silent Shadows. As always, if you appreciate our true crime storytelling, support our bi-weekly series by liking and subscribing. Together, we uncover compelling tales of crimes and mysteries in Kenya and beyond, presenting well-balanced narratives that respect the victims and their loved ones. Throwing caution to the wind, Rita agreed to meet with the man, and the two decided to meet on Saturday, 13th January 2024. According to their Instagram messages on the fateful day, the man gave Rita directions to the Airbnb on TRM Drive in Roysambu, where they were supposed to meet. Rita left her aunt's house in Syokimau, informing her aunt that she was going to meet up with a friend. Rita boarded a matatu and headed to Roysambu to meet the unidentified man at an Airbnb apartment on TRM Drive. To prepare for the meetup with Rita, the unidentified man called Airbnb owner Priscilla Maina, speaking in Swahili, and requested to book her apartment on Saturday, 13th January 2024. To cover his tracks, he sent fake documents to Priscilla to book the apartment. The Airtel line he used to call her was registered under a woman's name, making it difficult for the police to trace him. To further cover his tracks, he opted to pay for the apartment using cash, citing issues with M-Pesa. In Roysambu, the unidentified man arrived at Greenhouse Apartments where the Airbnb was located. He headed to Julie Mini Market, a grocery shop near the apartments, to collect the keys. CCTV footage showed him arriving at the shop at 4:20 p.m. on the phone with Priscilla Maina, the Airbnb owner, who was giving him directions to the shop, where he picked the keys. The man was evidently dressed in a manner that showed that he tried to conceal his identity. He wore a white hat, sunglasses, and seemed to be in a hurry, perhaps as a tactic not to be noticed. He also had a bag with him, which in hindsight contained paraphernalia including a knife and a hacksaw which he used to gruesomely take Rita Waeni's life. The CCTV video of the suspect can be seen here. The man picked up the keys at the shop and headed to the bus stop to meet Rita Waeni, with whom he was still chatting with on Instagram messages. On Instagram messages, he described to her what he was wearing, specifically white shoes, and she also let him know the color of clothes she was wearing. The two met and headed together to the Airbnb apartment house B1, located on the ground floor at Greenhouse Apartments, TRM Drive, Roysambu. The following day, Sunday, 14th January 2024, Rita's father received a message at 5 a.m. delivered from Rita's phone number, demanding a ransom of Kenya shillings 500,000 within 24 hours for the release of Rita. Distressed, Rita's father reported the case to Mlolongo police station, and DCI officers quickly initiated investigations to save Rita's life. Unfortunately, it was too late. A few hours after sending these messages, the man left the Airbnb where he was with Rita, but he left alone. At around 9 a.m. at Greenhouse Apartments, where Rita and the identified man had met, the caretaker Mark Auma saw bloodstains outside apartment B1, where Rita and the identified man had stayed. Shocked, the caretaker called Priscilla Minor, the owner of the Airbnb apartment, to confirm if the guest who had booked the apartment had checked out. The caretaker and some neighbors then opened the house only to find it clean without anything alarming in sight. The caretaker and the neighbors decided to follow the bloodstains, which led them to the apartment's garbage collection point, where they found Rita deceased, dismembered, and her body parts stuffed in trash bags. The caretaker then called the Kasarani police station, and the police arrived to retrieve Rita's remains, as seen here. However, her head was missing. They then took her to the city mortuary for an autopsy, and the police also started probing the case. Rita Waeni's gruesome demise shocked the country as it came a week after another woman, 26-year-old Starlet Wahu, was brutally killed in an Airbnb at South Sea by a man, John Matara, whom she had also just met. These two cases continue to highlight the rising cases of gender-based violence against women in Kenya. Forensics arrived at the scene of Rita's murder and determined that the reason why the neighbors and the caretaker did not hear any screams from the house was because Rita was most likely drugged before she was killed. They further established that she was dismembered in the bathroom, and that was why when the caretaker and the neighbors opened the house, it appeared clean. From the initial investigations, the police established through the cell phone data of the Airtel line that the unidentified man had used to call the Airbnb owner Priscilla Minor that he had been in Rwaka before and after the murder. The police suspected that this was where the unidentified man lived. The following day, on Tuesday, 16th January 2024, 3 days after Rita Waeni's death, a man suspected to be the assailant was arrested at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi. The man, who was not Kenyan, was traveling on a Mozambican passport and was interrogated at the airport before being sent to Kasarani police station for identification by witnesses. Following an identification parade by the police at the Kasarani police station, the man was declared not the assailant and was released after the witnesses, including the Airbnb owner Priscilla Minor and 2 others, failed to positively identify him. The police went back to the drawing board trying to connect the dots and identify Rita Waeni's killer. In the days that followed, Priscilla Minor, the Airbnb owner, was arrested for failure to follow due process as mandated by the law in registering the unidentified man before renting him the apartment. The police also arrested 3 occupants of House B2, the apartment next to apartment B1 where Rita lost her life to the evil killer. The 3 occupants of House B2 that were arrested were Mutiso, Omondi, and Kinoti. According to the police, Mutiso, who was found in House B2, told the police that he had spent the night there on the night Rita was murdered in the house next door. However, the police found blood in his fingernails. Mutiso, Omondi, and Kinoti further alleged that they were playing football the night Rita was murdered and claimed not to have had anything in House B1. On Wednesday, 17th January 2024, Magistrate Justice Kituku ruled that Priscilla Minor, Mutiso, Omondi, and Kinoti would remain detained to allow the police to conduct their investigations. The 4 will be presented to the court again on 25th January 2024. On Friday, 19th January 2024, an autopsy was conducted on Rita Waeni's remains at the city mortuary by government pathologist Dr. Johansen Odur. The pathologist shared with the media that he had never come across such a gruesome death. He also noted that the killer knew what he was doing because he used a sharp object to cut through the skin and a hacksaw to cut through the bones. The pathologist further stated that the killer tried to remove Rita's fingernails as a way of getting rid of evidence of his DNA from Rita's body. However, the pathologist was able to collect DNA from the remaining fingernails and sent the samples to the lab for testing. However, because Rita's head was still missing, the pathologist was unable to determine the cause of death. The police continued to look for Rita Waeni's killer and also her missing head. On the evening of Sunday, 21st January 2024, 1 week after Rita Waeni's death, the locals of Kimuga village in Kiambaa found a human head floating in the Kiambaa Dam. The head was wrapped in a purple female blouse and then put in a green carrier bag with a stone in it. The head was believed to be Rita's, but her family were unable to identify it since it was badly decomposed, and forensic analysis needed to be done to ascertain that it was Rita's head. However, the family were able to identify that the purple blouse that was wrapped around the head was indeed Rita's. Also at the scene where the head was found, the police recovered the missing mobile phone and other possessions belonging to Rita. A few hours after Rita's head was recovered at the Kiambaa Dam, 2 Nigerian nationals, William Ovie Opia and John Bull Asbor, were arrested as suspects in connection to Rita's murder. The two, William and John Bull, lived in the Ndero area, Kiambu County, a short distance from Kiambaa Dam where Rita's head was found. It is unclear what or who led the police to the 2 suspects, but one hypothesis is the locals sounded the alarm on William and John Bull. At the time of their arrest, William and John Bull did not have valid travel or identification documents on them. At their house, the police also recovered a hatchet, a butcher's knife, a national identity card belonging to a Kenyan whose name has been withheld, 6 mobile phones, 3 laptops, 10 SIM cards from different telecom service providers, proof that the 2 were criminals up to no good and may have been involved in Rita's murder, particularly given that the hatchet and the butcher's knife found in their house were also the tools that the pathologist said may have been used to take Rita's life. According to police reports, William bought the hatchet from an online vendor and he told investigators that he had bought it for self-defense. The police are currently working on obtaining call data records for all the SIM cards and mobile phone numbers recovered from the 2 to ascertain whether they were involved in the murder. Additionally, the government chemists extracted Williams and John Bull's blood samples for DNA analysis and comparison against the samples that were extracted from the scene of the crime. Senior Principal Magistrate Agnes Mwangi of Makadara Law Courts allowed police to detain the 2 until 31st January as the investigations into their involvement into Rita's death continue. William and John Bull moved to Kenya from Nigeria around 2018. Both individuals hailed from very humble backgrounds in Nigeria. Upon their relocation to Kenya, the 2 adopted a flamboyant lifestyle, organizing parties and indulging in excessive drinking without any apparent legitimate source of income. Many speculate that the 2 were Yahoo boys, individuals involved in fraudulent activities to earn a living. It is crucial to know that in Nigeria, Yahoo boys have been implicated in numerous gruesome killings of women. These deaths are often linked to occultism and labeled as ritual killings, where Yahoo boys sacrifice innocent girls and women in the belief that it will bring them wealth or protect them from law enforcement. To delve deeper into the unsettling pattern of ritual killings in Nigeria, you can watch this video where we cover the gruesome death of Augusta Osedion, an Instagram influencer killed by her boyfriend Killer Boy in an incident deemed a ritual killing. On Thursday, 25th January 2024, government pathologist Dr. Johansen Odur released findings from an autopsy conducted on Rita's head. The pathologist asserted that Rita was strangled before she was decapitated, and strangulation was determined to be the cause of death. Rita's killer remains at large, and we honestly hope that the police apprehend him soon and that justice is served. We will keep you informed of any developments in the case. Our deepest condolences go to Rita's family and friends during these incredibly challenging times, and may Ritawaeni rest in eternal peace. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you in our next video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be notified when the video is up. Until then, please take care, stay safe, and always trust your gut.